YouTube at X. It's your main man BTM here, bringing you back to the BTM Crypto News Network. So thanks for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe and super chat. So let me know what you guys think about this Goldman Sachs investing 153 million back into XRP. So let me know. We'll get to that in a minute. Just triple checking something. And we will start the updates. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. So let's start the screen share and see what we can see. This is Caleb and Brown. Caleb and Brown is a sponsor for the BTM Crypto News Network. Thanks for that sponsorship. And they do help you with your crypto journey. They help you self-custody your crypto. And they do give you a one-on-one broker. Also 24/7, there's actually a human there, not a robot or a automated response, which is also very helpful. So that is good as well. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. And moving forward, we're going to start the crypto bubbles. Shout out to the BTM mob. Thanks for joining. And let me see. Waiting for this to close. So this is a quick from Jake Cleaver.
When we hit $3.84, which was actually like early 2018, that was when Ripple locked up the escrow. So there was literally a supply shock with half of the supply available out there for purchase. And maybe even less than that, because again, you know, some of it's locked up for different reasons. Other people are holding it. There's not a whole lot available for trade. And that's why the volume pushed the price to the levels that it did. And that's what's going to happen here again when the OTC desks are eaten up, when the dark pools are empty, and they have to go to the exchange with all of the volume and the demand that they're going to see at one time. That's what's going to push price to 3 and 4 digits so they can start using it. And then once they start using it, the volume from the transactions over the network will maintain price stability, and there'll be a price floor for the asset. Not to say it couldn't go over it and come back to the price floor a little bit. That's possible. But I do think that there will be a steady volume and demand for the asset depending on what markets it gets implemented in, and then that'll escalate over time as they introduce new markets or you know, different use cases for the asset to settle it. In 2017, when we hit $3.84, which was actually like early 2018, that was when Ripple locked up the escrow. So there was literally a supply shock with half of the supply available out there for purchase. And maybe even less than that, because again, you know, some of it's locked up for different reasons. Other people are holding it. There's not a whole lot available for trade. And that's why the volume pushed the price to the levels that it did. And that's what's going to happen here again.
So keeping it moving, we are going to, this is another quick little short from Jake as well.
And no downsides in my personal opinion. You can work with Digital Family Office to set up your own holding company to manage digital assets. If you have somewhere north of $50,000 to $80,000 in current value, and a majority of that is XRP, that's when we see people start to look at setting up these businesses, and we can help you do that. You don't have to work with us, but we've done, you know, about 7,000 of these over the past 3 years. We are the #1 provider for this, structured the right way to be able to mitigate taxes, increase creditor protection, and then also, you know, provide you anonymity to be able to transact with this stuff over the long term as you participate in financial products, whether that's on or off chain. So again, all that, if you want it to work.
Shout out to Jake for that update as well. Keeping it moving. This is the crypto bubbles. So on the bubbles, we have
Bitcoin new investor inflows have flipped negative, reinforcing early bear market conditions as sell offs aren't being absorbed by fresh capital, according to crypto quant analyst. Welcome back to the Crypto ZX channel, to the XRP family. Again, this is something that shouldn't be a big surprise to anyone. And again, this is a very important thing to keep in mind. You could see early bear market conditions, and I know a lot of people are probably scratching their head right now thinking, what's going on with this comment right here? Because the market has been in the downtrend specifically for altcoins. Like I said, and I'll say it 1,000 times if I have to, when you measure a bear market or a bull market, you focus on the king of the market, which itself is Bitcoin. And when did Bitcoin break below the uptrend? Just last week. So that's something you don't want to be ignoring. But let's take a look at what's going on with XRP. XRP down about 4% on the daily time frame, sitting at $1.39, down 1.1% on the Bitcoin side. Valuation 84.46 billion, and the 24-hour trading volume at $2.4 billion. But as always, just a quick disclaimer, anything on this channel is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence and research when you are investing in crypto. So take a look at this. Ripple and the Federal Reserve. Docket 0 OP-1877 could redefine global liquidity if Ripple secures a payment account. RLUSD reserve would sit directly at the Fed, eliminating commercial bank counterparty risk. Why it matters: direct settlement on the Fed rails, cementing XRP as the premier bridge asset, institutional grade stability for RLUSD. Speaking of that, take a look at what Stewart says. Productive session at the White House today. Compromises in the air. Clear bipartisan momentum remain behind sensible crypto market structure legislation. We should move now while the window is still open and deliver a real win for consumers and America. And here we have it, a lot happening. Yes, market conditions are not looking too good, but there is a lot happening here. And I think, as time goes by, people are really going to start to realize, the importance of that. And speaking of the market conditions, we're going to kind of touch a little bit more on that today as well. But take a look at this. Goldman Sachs, I did mention this in the Solana update if you did end up watching it, but, Goldman Sachs has come out and disclosed their crypto holdings. And, that consists of only about 0.34% of their entire portfolio, which tells you how small it is. But again, in terms of dollar amounts, it's not small by any means. About 1.1 billion in Bitcoin, 1 billion in Ethereum, and about 153 million in XRP, as you can see for yourself. And also Solana, $108 million as of recording this update. And again, kind of going back in time, shout out to, the people that have been here since day one. These are things, people used to dream of, and now it doesn't really matter as much because, this market has matured, believe it or not. And the capital that's flowing in, it's, sophisticated, money that's flowing in, smart money. And a few years back, this specific news would, cause the market to just erupt, literally, this specific news itself. But again, you could really see what type of market we're currently in it now. And like I said, the market is maturing. It's no longer the good old wild, wild west, of the crypto land. It has obviously gone mainstream, obviously not to a full fledged, but it's getting there. Take a look at this. Anthony Papliano says, something that doesn't feel true, but the data backs it up. So he's pretty much saying, this is the strongest drawdown we've seen. From peak to now, this is the least severe major pullback Bitcoin has ever had. It doesn't feel calm when Bitcoin drops 10% in a day, but zoom out, volatility has compressed from an 80 dash, volume asset to roughly 40 dash volume. That's a structural shift. ETFs are new instruments, changed the game. Bitcoin isn't just held forever anymore, it's actively traded. That means more two-way flow and more realistic price discovery. And here's the bigger macro angle. Pompliano believes AI is creating a powerful deflationary force in the US economy, so strong that even aggressive money printing may not overwhelm it. And I can make one specific argument, and that argument that I want to make is that yes, this has of course been the strongest drawdown, and obviously it doesn't compare to what we have seen in the past, where Bitcoin has gone down substantially compared to what we're seeing right now. But what makes us think that Bitcoin can go down lower? See what I mean? What makes us think Bitcoin can't go down lower? I personally think, of course, there is a part of, what I agree with him that, I don't think with all the things that were going on for the crypto space, there's so much going on at this point, and I'm sure if you guys follow with the crypto trends, you guys know how much is going on in this market, and I just don't see how you will see, these big players allowing BTC to, drop below the likes of, these key support lines, specifically around, 40. I personally think, in my opinion, $52,000 might be, closer to, where Bitcoin might be bottoming, or, the $46,000 if that does not hold. I just don't see how BTC, does what it has done in the past from, the previous cycles, because again, in the previous cycles, Bitcoin has dropped literally, you can see for yourself, 77%. And, from this cycle, from all-time high, 77% drop for Bitcoin puts it at literally $27,888. And I just don't see that happening. I still think we do have more downside, which again, in comparison to, the previous cycle would really, send a lot of volume and speak for itself. But, that's something I want to kind of make an argument upon. But speaking about the market, condition, look what Kathy Wood says. This isn't just another dip. ARK Invest CEO, revisited the event on October 10th, and I'm sure you guys know about the biggest liquidation in the crypto markets. So she says October 10th was what in the crypto world is a flash crash associated with the software glitch on Binance that deleveraged the system. So pretty much saying, Binance is to be the main reason why, we did see a huge pullback. And I'm starting to see a lot of people kind of having a, similar consensus in regards to that. But, my personal take is that the market uh, you know, never really was able to overcome that. That fear is still there. And, you could see, we pretty much round tripped back down to October 10th. And not only that, we dropped below the October 10th lows. And that itself is pretty self-explanatory. And I think, that itself is the reason why we did start this uptrend, and the market just wasn't there to, absorb that. Because again, if you even look at back in October, if you've been paying attention to the ZX channel, we've been talking about how even around that time there was barely any bids coming into, some of these altcoins or even Bitcoin in specific. So these are things, you don't really want to be overlooking. But Tom Lee backed Bitmine BMNR, staked 140,000 Ethereum worth about $282 million, bringing total staked ETH to 2.97, about $6 billion, about 69% of the holding. So again, these guys are continuing to do what they are saying, but these are things I would love to know, what you guys think about that. But take a look at the new details from the White House stablecoin meeting. The banks are finally showing their cards on stablecoin rewards. So you could see, while the principles look strict, the shift towards discussing exemptions for transaction-based rewards is a major pivot. And of course, Stewart noted, compromise is officially in the air. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. But let's take a look at what's happening with the price here. As far as dominance is concerned, of course, it's showing a little bit of a cool off here, and that is due to Bitcoin. I'm going to briefly go over Bitcoin with you guys. Not going to take too much of your time. Bitcoin right now is still bouncing above this key support line. You can see for yourself, we actually got supported by that range, bounced above, but not out of the woods yet. Dropping below this key support line could take us back down to $65,000. And if that does not hold back down, we go to levels where we were just about 5 days back, and potentially dropping below that. So those are things we want to kind of keep in mind. That's a 10% move for Bitcoin to fill, the February 5th lows. What does that mean for XRP? XRP could definitely obviously react to that move. We haven't really seen since September, or even, early 2018, when, we did see that parabolic price action. So, that support is playing out. And again, if that does not hold, like I said, $1.27 could be the next key support line to be watching. And that itself is about a 10% move from where we currently are. So, Bitcoin, if it goes to 65K, I personally think we do see XRP coming back down to this key support line. So that's something I want you guys to kind of keep in mind. Let me know in the comments what you guys personally think as to what you guys are doing right now in terms of accumulation. What's your overall strategy? Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, and your bell icon is on so you're notified every time we upload. With that said, see you later. Been Crypto ZX, and peace.
What do you do before an 8 o'clock game? I'm not going to go sit in a bar for 4 hours. What am I going to do? Come home, take a nap, get up, go play kickball for an hour, come back home. It kills me. It absolutely kills me. And then we got a doubleheader in softball tomorrow. Folks, tired, man. I'm tired. Let me give you a little update before we jump into this, because we're going to be talking about XRP and XLM fixed price. We got some new information that has come out. So we took the cat to the vet yesterday. She made it. No accidents in the car. It was close. She had saliva hanging from her mouth. I wiped it out. We went in there. Had to get some blood taken. Had to put her on her side. She actually submitted. It was kind of crazy. I've never seen her like this. They went left side, couldn't get it. They said her veins are too little. They flipped around. They went right side. They got it. They did a little shave, looked at the thyroid, looked at the butt. We're thinking it's IBS is what she got going down. So what do we have to do? She got to take a pill every day. This is for 2 weeks. Pill's okay. I can kind of mask it, right? And she loves food. But I got to take 2 syringes. I have a 0.5 on the syringe and then 0.4, and I got to try to hold her and squirt it in her mouth. This is the most challenging and difficult thing I have ever done. It's not easy. She fights. She squirms. I try to get
Okay, we're back. I don't know. Something weird keeps happening with my cameras. I don't know what's going on here. But like I said before, we can't be stopped. BTM is back. So let's look at the bubbles. So on the crypto bubbles, we have ZBC is down 7.5. AIXBT is down 3.8. Telecoin is down 5.9. ICP is down 2.2. XRP is down 3.6 on the day. Up 1% on the hour. Down 8.8 on the week. Down 33.5 on the month, and 43.6 on the year. Monero's up 4%. Alchemy Pay's up 1.2. ZK is up 1.7. Caspa is up 1%. KSPR is Casper is up 26.6. Bears up 16. Metals up 1.8. And the rest of the market's down. Tau is down 7% on the day. Bitcoin SV is down 2.3. Lithium's down 3.6. XPR is down 2.1. Ethereum Classic is down 3.2. CVX is down 2.2. Bear is up 16.7. AIOZ's down 6%. Render's down 4.2. Ordinai is down 3.1. XLM is down 4%. Prime's down 3.4. Gala is down 3.2. Dash is down 4.4. Aerodrome is down 9.5. World Liberty Financial is down 5.7. FET is down 2.8. Radiant's down 4.7. Solana's down 5.9. Jupiter is down 5.3. Stronghold is down 6.6 on the day, unchanged on the hour, down 9% on the week, down 40% on the month, and down 60.1 on the year. Litecoin's down 3.5. Poly is down 2.6. Flares down 4.2. Nexo's down 2.8. Ondo's down 2.9. XLM is down 1.8. Caspa's up 1.3. Telecoin's down 5.9. ZBC is down 7.7. Pit's down 4%. Bitcoin is down 4.6, unchanged on the hour, down 8.2 on the week, down 27.3 on the month, and down 31.3 on the year. So let me know what you guys think about that. Ethereum Classic is down 5.2 on the day, down 0.3 on the hour, down 7% on the week, down 36.7 for the month, and down 27.8 for the year. Let me know what you guys think. Pitch down 3.3. What was that? That was Ethereum. We did, I think, XRP up 1.3 on the hour, down 3.4 on the day, down 8.6 on the week, and down 33.4 on the month, and down 43.5 on the year to $1.37. Just keeps going down. So this is the article. As mentioned, Goldman Sachs, 153 million relevant drives bullish sentiment revitalization for XRP, but price risk drops to 50 cents. Goldman Sachs disclosed roughly 1.53 million XRP-linked ETF exposure, boosting sentiment. Weekly price structure remains bullish with lower lows and the MACD bearish crossover. The $1.14 fib level is a critical support, and a break down could open the door down to 50 cents. XRP's price is caught in high stakes standoff between institutional validation and its fragile state. On one side, major disclosures from Goldman Sachs to strengthen the long-term narrative. On the other side, the price action is teetering around. So thanks for 2% Bitcoin. Let me see. Is teetering around support with charts warning that optimism alone may not be enough. Here's everything you need to know about the XRP price. Goldman Sachs $153 million signal may not be enough. On February 8th, the weighted sentiment around XRP was negative, but today that's changed as on-chain data from Santiment shows that reading has jumped into the positive region. Despite that, XRP's price is down 23% over 30 days, typically raising bullish sentiment and declining prices signal a buy. But from the look of things, the current bear market, it might not be the case for XRP. According to CCN, finding the bullish spark occurred from the Goldman Sachs Q4 2025 13F filing. The bank revealed approximately 153 million in XRP-linked exposure, primarily through regulated spot ETFs such as Bitwise, Grayscale, and 21 shares. Grayscale, your boys, 21 shares. This is an isolated move within a broader 2.3 billion digital asset portfolio. Goldman reportedly trimmed Bitcoin's exposure by roughly 40% while building new positions in XRP and Solana. And I was telling you guys, as the XRP grows, Bitcoin will start to lose a lot of the investment. A lot of them will pull out and start moving over to altcoins as the Bitcoin dominance shrinks. For institutions, the importance isn't just size, it's structure. Exposure via regulated XRP, a ledger of regulatory legitimacy, may lower the barriers to entry for other tier one allocations in 2026. But findings reflect past positioning. The price trades are present, and as such, market participation might be lower than their expectation about notable price recovery. Reality of the XRP. What up, Dave? What's going on with your fam? Thanks for joining. We've been going through the technical issues again, but hang in there, guys. We'll work it out. I don't know what's happening, but we can't be stopped. We can't be stopped. So just hang in there, guys. We'll work through it. Shout out to the BTM mob. Despite the headline boost, XRP's price on the weekly chart shows it is in a downward trend. As it stands, the altcoin has been printing lower highs and higher lows, with each bounce failing to hold the prior Fibonacci retracement level. Damn it. The recent rejection below the 0.382 levels around the $1.62 reinforces sellers remain in control. Therefore, moving average convergence MACD has completed a bearish crossover. At the same time, the RSI relative strength index is trending downward, reflecting sustained bearish pressure with no strong bullish divergence yet. The 0.23 fib levels around 114 is the next technical area to watch. A weekly close below the level would likely accelerate downward towards the psychological $1 region and potentially deepen structure support around 50 cents. The measured down draw projection on the chart also suggests a real full retracement remains technically possible if the broader market conditions deteriorate. In this case, XRP's price may break below the $1.14 support, and that scenario could slide to 50 cents. However, if the altcoin breaks above the descending channel and reclaims the 0.382 fib level, the broader setup could change. Should that be the case, XRP's price might jump to $1.63. In a highly bullish scenario, the market value could reach $2. The next catalyst for the XRP Community Day, Ripple's leadership is expected to outline the 2026 initiatives, including the zero knowledge integrations and the confidence multi-purpose token. on the XRPL, confidential multi-purpose tokens coming. If these upgrades successfully position XRP as a compliant institutional DeFi rail, and the Goldman disclosure could evolve from symbolic endorsement into a sustained capital rotation narrative. If not, the market may treat it as another headline, unable to override macro headwinds. Pretty interesting article. What up, Miss Lily? How's it going? After Clarity Act and the Fed chair change, it will send the market. I hope you're right. I really hope you're right. You might be on to something. So this is the ZBIC super app might be coming. So this is that article. Also breaking, Goldman Sachs has disclosed 108 million in Solana holdings as part of the latest filing, along 1.1 billion in Bitcoin, 1 billion in Ethereum, and 153 in XRP. The positions represent a combined crypto allocation of around 0.33 of its portfolio. This is CoinGape. CoinGape. If it ever comes up. So let's learn this real quick. So actually, let me close the bubbles out. So we have on the market cap, crypto overall market cap is 2.27 trillion, down 4.07. CNC 20 is $136.51, down 4.51. The fear and greed index remains at extreme fear, which is crazy because it seemed like it would be greed, but I guess it would be back in fear. Altcoin season's 28, so we're sliding again, slightly away from Bitcoin, but it's not really moving much between 30 and 25. That 5 points been going up and down all week. And crypto RSI average is 40.7, getting back to overbought, which could pump the price. So Bitcoin's currently at 66,539. XRP is $1.37, down 3.67% on the day. Market cap 83.6 billion. 3.35 billion 24-hour trading volume, up 26.9. What is this marker here? Wall Street Investment Bank's Goldman Sachs. That's the article we read. Goldman Sachs revealed a 2.3 billion crypto investment, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. Interesting. So for Live Coin Watch in, we're up 1.43% on the hour, down 3.79 for the day, down 9.3 for the week, down 33.47 for the month, down 42.23 on the 90 days, and down 43.5 on the year. So this is the ETF tracker. ETF's low today. Spot is 6.3 million. Leverage volume is 24.3. And for some reason, the graph doesn't load. But going down, Grayscale is $26.27, down 3.93. Today's volume is 2 million. Bitwise is $15.35, down 4.34, volume 1.94 million. This is the lowest I've seen in a while. Canary Capital is $14.55, down 4.01. This is the shakeout. Don't get shaken out, folks. Continue to hang in there. So this is Franklin Templeton. Franklin Templeton is showing, let me turn this off, this banner off. Slowing us down here. So Franklin Templeton is, where are we? $14.90, down 4.56. Rex Offspray is $11.06, down 3.2 cents. 21 shares is down to 13.55 cents, down 3.84%. 21 shares is 13K. Rex Osprey is 283K on the day, and Franklin Templeton is 779. So it's under a meal won. I don't know what's going on here. Derivative market volatility shares is 15.8 million, down 3.38 to $2.26. Turcum is $4.39, down 3.33% to 5.26 million on the day. Volatility shares is $7.84, down 2%, 2.21 million. Pro shares is $4.13, down 4% to a million. Amplify is $15.15, down 3.35 to 75K. So let me know what you guys think about that. Moving on to the radar, in escrow, that's down actually, 33.9 billion. Circulating supply is 66 billion. XRP burnt is 14.3 million. RLUSD's up. I think last time we checked is 1.4 billion. It's at 1.5 billion. Exchange is 14.16 billion. ETFs is 793 million. The DeFi is 235.9 million. Tokenized RWA is 1.64 billion. And Treasury is 473.3 million. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comments. Going back over to X. So this is XRP-L, native yield infrastructure is moving closer to regulation. U.S. Treasury-backed returns as a new partnership aims to unlock compliant on-ledger yield for XRP and RLUSD holders while straightening real-world asset adoption. Altcoin dropped on Wednesday as cautious sentiment weighed on the crypto market. XRP slid 4%, Ethereum lost 2.6%, and Solana and Polygon each fell 4%. Dogecoin and Cardano also declined, extending this week's losses. Shout out to the Wall Street News. We saw that XRP is quiet, but it's still paying attention. Its holders around $1.42 as the market awaits the clarity news. After this week's 12% drop, price looks stable and a move back above $1.50 could be next. So this lists XRP, Solana, and Dodge as the top crypto picks on February 10th, which was yesterday. Worst market dips are often the best days to buy. While Bitcoin struggling to hold above 70K, blue chip cryptos are trading at relative discounts. Things are constantly moving forward towards global adoption, even if it doesn't seem that way. In that light, certain news and chart signals suggest that XRP, Solana, and Dogecoin are the best plays to stockpile ahead of the next bull market. XRP Ripple's new plan to disrupt SWIFT keeps $5 on the radar. The 87 billion cap XRP is the market leader in fast coefficient cross-border transactions. Ripple developed the XRP ledger, XRP-L, to offer banks, financial institutions a modern alternative to SWIFT's low settlement time and high fees. Recently, Ripple lined out a new plan to centralize XRP-L's institutional grade payments and tokenized infrastructure, with XRPs forming the core of the system. Reports that the United Nations Capital Development Fund and even the White House have cited XRPs, highlighting its potential to revolutionize payments. U.S. regulatory recently approved spot XRP exchange traded funds, opening the door for both institutional and retail investors to gain exposure through compliant investment products. More favorable developments could push XRP to $5 by the end of Q2. Say what? XRP Ripple's news. UK partners, UK investment giant Avaya to advance tokenize on the XRP ledger. Ripple partnered with Avaya investors to launch tokenized traditional fund on the XRP ledger. Avaya investors say tokenized fund structures could deliver cost and time efficiencies to its clients. CEO Brad Gensinghouse reconfirmed that XRP remains a top strategic priority for the firm. Partnership with one of the key investing giants in the UK, Avaya investors, for bringing traditional fund constructs to the XRP ledger in response to its growing interest in the tokenization market. Avaya ledgers investors to debut tokenized products using XRP-L. In a recent release, Ripple said that this year will start working in association with Avaya investors to include traditional financial assets in the ledger. We're thrilled to announce that Ripple is partnering with Avaya investors to bring traditional funds to the XRP ledger. This marks the first collaboration with the European investment management firm to tokenize real-world assets at scale. The network has produced over 4 billion transactions since 2012, has over 7 million active wallets, and operated through 120 individual validators. The partnership with Avaya investors marks the first time Ripple has collaborated with the asset manager on the continent. This also comes at a time when Ripple shared its roadmap at the end of the year that it would be building an institutional push for tokenization on the XRP ledger. The notable partnership that the firm has entered into globally include BYN, American Express, and PNC Bank. So back to X. Pushing the Bit Journal. Ripple custody brings Ethereum and Solana stakings to institutions. Okay. XRP whale alert, 9 million tokens moved to KT DeFi. Interesting. Huge XRP news. Genting House and are making waves. Ripple wins the battle. SEC case closed. Okay, it's nothing new. Allegedly, documents claim XRP could be hundreds X as Ripple new system expands. Really? Might have to do another video on that guy. XRP eyes major structive shift as price test critical levels. This is XRP breaking news. XRP CLO drops Clarity Act warning. The White House just sent a March 1st deadline for the crypto market bill structure, and Ripple CLO says we should move now while the window's still open. This changes everything for XRP.
Breaking news is just in. The White House has urged crypto companies and the banks to reach a deal on the Clarity Act and the crypto market structure bill by March 1st. Yes, March 1st is the brand new deadline set by the U.S. White House for banks and the crypto companies to come to an agreement on the Clarity Act. And this is huge news right now because just yesterday there was a closed door meeting, a stablecoin talks at the White House, and both sides called it productive. And the chief legal officer, the CLO of Ripple, this guy right here, Stuart Alderoti, just posted on X speaking about the Clarity Act meeting that just happened a few hours ago, saying how this is a productive session at the White House, but compromise is in the air right now. Clear bipartisan momentum remains behind sensible crypto market structure legislation. We should move now while the window is still open and deliver a real win for consumers and America. We should move now. This is his warning right here. The chief legal officer of Ripple dropped a huge warning because the window is still open and we should come to an agreement while the window is open before the window shuts. Banks walked in with a list of prohibition principles laying out exactly what they will not allow when it comes to a stablecoin rewards. However, big movements are happening. Sources say that banks showed movement as possible exemptions for language they previously refused to even discuss exemptions tied to transaction-based rewards. So the bigger tension point is what counts as permissible activities. Crypto wants a broader definition so firms can offer rewards, while banks want to narrow the definition to limit expansion. But either way, the White House has reportedly urged both sides to reach a deal by March 1st. Get yourself a decent hardware wallet or two to keep your cryptocurrency safe. You will love this Decent hardware wallet, and right now, Decent is doing a massive Valentine's Day promotion. The 2-pack is only $210 right now. Thousands of you already have gotten this Decent hardware wallet. I love this Decent hardware wallet. I have one and I have been working with them for years. Thousands of you have already gotten this wallet, and the 1-pack is $130, while the 2-pack is $210 right now for Valentine's. Get one for a special someone that you know, or a family member, a friend. Right now, these Decent hardware wallets are on a massive discount. You will love these wallets right now. Hardware wallets are more safe than exchanges. Yes, do not keep your crypto on exchanges. Move it to a hardware wallet like this. It supports over thousands of different cryptocurrencies. It uses your know what you're doing, so you can easily Valentine's Day promotion, 10 more days. So all of the right there hardware wallet. Let's get back into the video. Yes, this is absolutely huge.
So how many of you guys have a decent wallet? I keep hearing these guys talking about it, but I don't have a decent wallet. So let me know what you guys think.
Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Citibank, the largest banks in the entire world. They just met with Coinbase, with Ripple also, and a bunch of other companies right here, as you can tell, crypto companies. And this is their prohibition list. This is stuff that the banks cannot compromise on. But March 1st is the new deadline set by the White House. Yes, in the next few days and weeks. That's literally in about 2-3 weeks from now. That is when the deadline is. So big things are coming up with the Clarity Act right now. According to Polymarket, there's a 56-60% chance the Clarity Act will be signed into law this year. The biggest winners of this Clarity Act, well, guess what? XRP, for example, is an American-made cryptocurrency made in the United States, mentioned by President Trump, and Ripple XRP is working with the White House directly. It has ETFs. So XRP and Cardano are the only two cryptocurrencies that check off this list. This deadline, March 1st, is extremely important. Write it down, save this video, share this video, whatever you need to do, because big things are coming up with the Clarity Act here in the United States. If you hold Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, any cryptocurrency right now, show your support, join us, subscribe. I love you all, and I will see you very soon. Yes, you. Until next time, Crypto AI Man.
Bitcoin new investor inflows have.
So keeping it moving, gonna roll over to the Bullwinkle Blueprint XRP news, breaking the theory claiming XRP XLM may be one day have a fixed price.
What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the show. Happy Wednesday, February 11th. A couple of days away from Valentine's Day. Hopefully everyone got some plans lined up. Tonight's opening night of Kickball 8-10 game. I'm not looking forward to it. I'll tell you right now. I do not like these 8 o'clock games. You should never have a single game at 8 o'clock at night. It should always be a doubleheader, 7 and 8. Or for softball, 7:30, 8:30. What do you do before an 8 o'clock game? I'm not going to go sit in a bar for 4 hours. What am I going to do? Come home, take a nap, get up, go play kickball for an hour, come back home. It kills me. It absolutely kills me. And then we got a doubleheader in softball tomorrow. Folks, tired, man. I'm tired. Let me give you a little update before we jump into this, because we're going to be talking about XRP and XLM fixed price. We got some new information that has come out. So we took the cat to the vet yesterday. She made it. No accidents in the car. It was close. She had saliva hanging from her mouth. I wiped it out. We went in there. Had to get some blood taken. Had to put her on her side. She actually submitted. It was kind of crazy. I've never seen her like this. They went left side, couldn't get it. They said her veins are too little. They flipped around. They went right side. They got it. They did a little shave, looked at the thyroid, looked at the butt. We're thinking it's IBS is what she got going down. So what do we have to do? She got to take a pill every day. This is for 2 weeks. Pill's okay. I can kind of mask it, right? And she loves food. But I got to take 2 syringes. A half, a 0.5 on the syringe, and then 0.4. And I got to try to hold her and squirt it in her mouth. This is the most challenging and difficult thing I have ever done. It's not easy. She fights. She squirms. I try to get it in. She starts foaming, saliva. She runs. It's all over the house, the goo. I got to do this for 2 weeks straight. Folks, it's not easy. It is a very stressful morning and stressful night. I just got this morning's done. I got a little scratch on my arm, but we're all right. She got it in. I gave her a treat after. I don't know where she is right now. I think she's back at the food bowl. Just wish me luck for these next 14 days. Well, let's get into this video. Something just happened that most crypto investors, they're completely missing. A major global asset manager No, we're not talking Goldman Sachs. Just move towards putting real world financial assets onto the XRP ledger. Yes, the XRP ledger. And if one controversial theory is right that I'm about to show you, this could completely change how XRP and XLM are priced forever. Let's talk about it, folks. We're going to jump right into the news. We got a huge moment kicking off this morning on XRP Community Day. This is one of those moments that you look at it and it doesn't look loud on surface, right? But it could be, and it could end up being being massive in hindsight, okay? Aviva Investors. This is the global asset management business of Aviva PIC. This is one of UK's largest insurers. They have announced a partnership with Ripple with the intention of tokenizing traditional fund structures directly on the XRP ledger. And this matters, folks, because we're not talking about some random crypto startup experimenting with blockchain anymore. We're talking about traditional finance here, moving on chain. Tokenization means real financial assets, funds, securities, investment products, all being represented digitally on blockchain. And that blockchain is going to be the XRP ledger. Instead of this slow settlement, middlemen, and these multi-day clearing times, transactions happen nearly instantly and at a low cost with transparent settlement. That is exactly what the ledger was designed for. And people are finally starting to use it. I told you the key to getting price appreciation is actual utility. We are finally starting to see utility. For years, people said institutional adoption was coming. Now, we're finally watching institutions actually start building. The guy on your screen, Mark Insfranger, this is the senior vice president of Ripple X. He made the announcement. So what does this partnership actually mean? Here's the Ripple Insight article. You don't got to read it. I got you covered. So they aren't just testing an idea, Aviva. This is their first move into tokenized solutions as part of their existing investment offering. And Ripple is supporting this as part of the broader push to real-world assets with real utility on the ledger. This is significant for two reasons. First, this is Ripple's first collaboration with a European investment management firm of this scale. This signals that the expansion into your regulated financial markets, where compliance, efficiency, and scalability all matter more than hype. And second, this is a big one, tokenized funds need infrastructure that institutions trust. Institutions trust Ripple, and they trust what they're doing on the ledger. They love it because of the fast settlement, the low fees, and because it has built-in compliance features, everyone. Since 2012, 14 years ago, the ledger has done billions of transactions, and it operates independent validators all around the world. No downtime. It just does what it says it's going to do. In other words, this isn't a theory anymore. The rails are being built and finally being put into place. And when you got traditional finance starting to build on a network, they don't build for small volume. They build so they're able to scale. Now, folks, if you were getting value out of this, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And if you haven't signed up with my partner yet, go get it done. Click the link down below. I Trust Capital. $100 bonus for using my link. Premium custody. We preach it every single day. There's a reason we preach this. You will get the same institutional custody that BlackRock is using through Fidelity and Coinbase. And I've seen some of your comments talking about, well, what if iTrust goes away? No way BlackRock is using iTrust. No, BlackRock is using institutional custody from Fidelity and Coinbase. iTrust made a partnership with them to allow their clients to use that same custody. It's the only way you're getting institutional custody. Your crypto is safe for the next. Your crypto is safe. So we got this theory going around. It kind of sounds crazy at first, but it starts to make more and more sense the deeper we look into this from the institutional adoption level. Here's the theory. XRP and potentially XLM, they become the settlement layers for large-scale financial flows, which means that their price behavior, it would have to fundamentally change. Here's what everyone's starting to talk about, and the rumors are starting to pick back up. During the early experiment phases, Swift has confirmed in a webinar, and we're going to listen to this clip, it's 18 seconds, that both Ripple and Stellar were among the blockchains tested for interoperability and cross-border settlement experiments. Now think about that. Swift connects over 11,000 financial institutions globally and do trillions of dollars a year. If systems like that interact with blockchain rails, your volatility then becomes a problem. Banks do not want to settle billion-dollar flows through assets that can move 10% in a day. So what happens? Liquidity pools deepen, market makers stabilize your spreads, utility demand increases, and over time, price movement can compress as your usage increases. Think about it like oil or your foreign exchange markets, okay? They move, but within ranges relative to liquidity and demand. The argument that some analysts out there are making is that XRP becomes a bridge asset for large-scale settlements, and that would eventually need enough liquidity at predictable levels to help support that activity. This is a world where the price would absolutely shoot to the upside because it would be driven by usage rather than speculation. Your liquidity pools would be deep within a range, because we know XRP loves to range, which would cause less volatility. And this is where what we just talked about, this partnership with Avia connects the theory. Because your tokenized funds on the XRP ledger means that your real assets moving through the ecosystem finally. You're getting real transactions and real settlement needs. So if institutions begin relying on these rails daily, XRP stops being traded as just like a normal crypto asset, and it actually becomes infrastructure. And infrastructure behaves very differently than speculation. That's the core of this theory. Listen to this.
We had 45, 50 odd commercial banks looking at, what does blockchain mean? And our early experimentation in 2015 was on ledgers that were available. So looking at Bitcoin, looking at Ethereum, looking at Stellar, looking at kind of Ripple and kind of all the other blockchains that were available and the solutions that were available. So lots of excitement. The early projects, I remember a really cool project, Genesis.
That's absolutely massive, right? But it gets better. Because the most important part of this announcement is not just that the assets are being tokenized. It's where they're being tokenized. And it is all happening on the XRP ledger. That means your transactions, your settlement, and your liquidity mechanisms exist inside an ecosystem where XRP plays a native role. Ripple and Avia investors, they're effectively working towards bringing your traditional fund structures onto a public blockchain environment that is designed for financial efficiency. This is the bridge between institutional finance and blockchain utility that people have talked about for years. Tokenized real-world value assets are widely considered one of the largest opportunities in crypto because they connect trillions of dollars in the traditional markets to blockchain infrastructure. And 2026, it is shaping up to be the year where your experimentation turns into actually implementation. This is crazy, everyone. This is what we've been waiting for. I've been telling you for quite some time. We got no utility. When we finally get utility and the ledger starts getting to be used, expect the price to start to rise.
So as you mentioned, once the utility is working and the adoption's there, that's when the price is going to push. But we have the utility. I think we're waiting on the Clarity Act. That's what's slowing it down, man. What up, ZBCN, man?
And here's the part most people won't realize until much, much later. The biggest changes in finance never look dramatic when they start. What happens? They look boring. They're technical and they're quiet. A partnership announcement, a quiet program, a webinar mention. But years later, people look back and say, that was the moment everything shifted. If tokenized funds, institutional settlement, and global payment rails all converge on the same infrastructure, being the XRP ledger, the question stops being if blockchain gets adopted. The question then becomes which networks were already in place when that switch flipped. And if this theory about utility driven pricing is even partially correct, the future of XRP might not look anything like the market people think that they were trading today. The real question is, are we watching adoption happen in real time? Or are we still early enough that most people haven't even noticed? I'll let you decide, folks. I hope you enjoyed. As always, subscribe, hit that thumbs up so YouTube knows I need to push out this video. And I'm going to see all y'all 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Please read
Hello,
the disclaimer.
and welcome everybody back to the Millionaire Finance channel.
XRP holders, it's happening today. Plus, no deal, no deal. Hello, beautiful.
So we're going to finish out with Money Maker, Arby, and that'll be it. Thanks for joining. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and super chat. But let's see what Arby has to say about the Clarity update.
People, shalom, money makers. We're going to talk about the Clarity Act, about XRP, about what did Goldman Sachs just do that has everybody surprised. But currently XRP is sitting at $1.30, almost 37 cents, 36.92, down minus 2.2% on the day. Bitcoin down minus 2.63. Ethereum is under $2,000 here, down minus 3.5% on the day. The crypto market is dropping. It seems that it is because of what came out of Washington last night, which we'll get to in just a second. Make sure, of course, to watch all the way to the end of the video. Very, very important to get all the greatest and the latest information about the crypto market so you can stay up to date and make the best decisions for yourself. The big news that came out of Wall Street this morning regarding the crypto market is that investment bank Goldman Sachs just revealed that it holds 1.1 billion of Bitcoin, 1 billion of Ethereum, 153 million of XRP, and 108 million of Solana. Goldman has representation at the White House meeting on stablecoin yield today. This is very interesting, and the CEO, David Solomon, is scheduled to speak at World Liberty Finance Forum in Palm Beach next week. So it's interesting that and she says here, Eleanor, quick clarifier, their exposure, like most of the big institutions, is via spot crypto ETF exposure, not direct token holdings. So they own the ETFs. Not surprising, right? That this is something that we talked about, during the time when people were saying, "Oh, will there be an XRP ETF? Will there not be an XRP ETF?" We were talking about that once we have an XRP ETF, then institutions like Goldman Sachs, like JP Morgan, and others, they're less likely to buy crypto straight up. But if they have the ETFs, then they will feel more confidence in adding that to their balance sheet because it's through their SEC and all that. And so it's an ETF, right? And so we're already seeing that. Of course, XRP is, 153 million, but still, this is a very big investment firm that is investing in the crypto market straight up. They're not creating their own ETF, right, and taking money from other people. They're actually using their funds, their investment funds, to purchase crypto. And so that's a very interesting big step forward. And maybe this announcement by Goldman will tickle the fingers of other firms like this. And you can see CZ, former CEO of Binance, saying Goldman Sachs Q4 2025 13F filing reveals 2.36 billion in crypto assets. It's the Q4, so probably this is worth less right now. Maybe they bought the dip, maybe. Maybe that's who was buying on Friday, marking a 15% quarter-over-quarter increase despite market volatility. Crypto is probably the only place you had an earlier start than the banks. But if you sold your crypto last quarter while the banks are buying, then ... right? And so this is the harsh truth, right? How retail panic sells the dip while institutions quietly accumulate. When retail says in fear, they are eliminating risk, they are transferring opportunity, right? And we've seen this in the past. You get to a certain point where the market dips enough, and then the big money starts accumulating. And this is, a round robin, right? It happens again and again and again throughout history, where retail freaks out. The best, I think, the best example of this is what happened in February, March, April of last year, where the market was freaking out. And whoever bought, right, the fear, the max fear on the stock market, is up huge numbers right now, right? S&P 500 is up 44% since that low. NASDAQ even stronger, right? And so people that were buying that 50%, people that were buying that max fear are now up big. And people that were freaking out and closing positions and transferring, funds to other 4% yield, right, are crying a river right now. And this is just what history has told us. Now, the fear and greed index went back to double digits. So it was at 9. It went up a little bit. I think if we continue this pullback here today, we'll probably see this come back once again, back into those 2 digits. And if you think about it, again, the only times in history when we've been in these low levels of fear, right, single digits for a long extended period of time were the low points of the market, right? So again, doesn't mean that this is the end of the sell-off. We could still sell off more, but history has told us that when we hit this max fear, this 1-digit fear, it's all the times that it's happened, it's been a low. Again, maybe this time it's different. Who knows? As always, I just want to remind you that this video is for educational purposes, for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before you decide to invest. Very, very important. So today is actually XRP Community Day, launching with a signed merch and ETF talks. Ripple's Community Day, February 11th for Europe, Middle East, Africa, and Americas, while it's February 12th for Asia Pacific. Leaders like CEO Brad Garlinghouse, President Monica Long, and guests from Grayscale and Gemini host live X Spaces sessions on XRP ETFs, racked XRP for DeFi, and global adoption in payments. The events coinciding with that announcement from Goldman Sachs. You can see Brad signing some merch here. They didn't send me some merch. So that's going to be happening today. Watch out to see maybe this has some effect on the price of XRP, but probably not, right? New details coming out of the big meeting that we had yesterday. New details from the White House stablecoin yield meeting, basically the Clarity Act meeting per banking and crypto sources in the room. People on both sides called the meeting productive, but again, no compromise was reached by the end of the meeting. However, deal specifics, that's a hard word, deal specifics were discussed in more detail today. For example, banks in the banking trades came prepared with a written set of prohibition principles, and she will see the pick in just a second, which detailed what they are willing and not willing to compromise on when it comes to stablecoin rewards. One source pointed out a key concession from the banking being any proposed exemption language in paragraph 2, because they were previously unwilling to discuss any exemptions with respect to offering rewards on a transaction-based basis at all. Chief Legal Officer of Ripple, Stuart Alderati, said compromise is in the air. And we have, I have that tweet for him in just a second. There was heavy focus on so-called permissible activities, aka what kind of account activity could be allowed in order for crypto firms to offer rewards. Crypto wants definition on this to be broad, banks want it to be narrowed. For next steps, further discussions between the present parties are expected to happen in the coming days, but it's unclear whether another meeting of this scale will take place before the end of the month. The White House has urged both parties to reach a deal on the matter by March 1st. And so we had people from Coinbase. You can see here, the chief legal officer says, thanks to the White House for hosting us today. Crypto showed up ready to work and we all made progress. There's still more work to do for sure. And we hope everybody will stay at the table and do right. You can see also Brian Armstrong said, thank you, appreciate all the hard work. And then we had Stewart saying, productive session at the White House today. Compromise is in the air. Clear bipartisan momentum remains behind sensible crypto market structure legislation. We should move now while the window is still open and deliver a real win for consumers and America. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens here. At the end of the day, this is going to be a big thing moving forward. This is a make it or break it kind of situation, just from the stable coin viability, right? Meaning, if they don't get any rewards, then it removes a lot of what people are looking at stable coins as to beat fiat, right? In just that point, but we'll see what happens. And Eleanor says here, bottom line, it was smaller, more productive meeting than the first, and both sides are talking about ways to solve the issue at hand, but no final resolution has been reached yet. We'll see. Banks are shaking in their boots from this, and you see they're coming strong at this. They don't want this to happen because trillions of dollars will leave savings accounts and move to crypto firms. That's just what's going to happen. If there's a lot better deal and it's also government backed, then why wouldn't people move there, right? So it will be very interesting to see how this plays out. And again, since Coinbase is pulled out, the market has been selling off. And it could be that big money got freaked out and started selling on that. And maybe March 1st is the date that we're going to have to look at. It potentially will be coinciding with what Benjamin has been saying, Benjamin Cohen, about the fact that we usually see, crypto drop in these years and then have a kind of nice run up into March, April, and then continuing to sell off and then rally into the end of the year. He says, Bitcoin is already down 30% against gold this year. Note, every midterm year, Bitcoin has bled against gold. Here's the Bitcoin valuation for previous years. You can see minus 55, minus 73, minus 64, and this year, minus 32. So either Bitcoin is going to go down more or gold is going to go up. That's the only possibility that we could have here. If we're looking at silver, that it was going bananas for a few weeks. It has recovered also, but you can see over the past yesterday and today, for the most part, it's up 83, but not giving these big movements that we were seeing before we saw the massive sell-off last Thursday and Friday. And so it will be very interesting to see how the precious metals market kind of recovers from that sell-off that we saw last week. It's going to be very interesting to see this possibility going forward, right? And this was from rewind a little bit. Chad says, basically the meeting today was a wash. The stablecoin yield is the line in the sand. Banks are refusing to cave and crypto wants it, right? So we'll see. The Clarity Act and the whole situation is going to be very interesting. And you see the crypto market has been weak since Coinbase pulled out from a price action standpoint and from a action standpoint, right? Right now, since Coinbase has done this, and you might say, well, why did they do it? Of course, they wanted the yields, but also since then, you could say that volume outside of the those couple of days that we had massive volume has subsided, right? The interest is down. And so right now, people are cutting their price target for their stock. JP Morgan saying that weaker crypto trading volume, softer prices, and slower USDC growth are as key risks. And this could potentially happen, if the crypto market continues to, the prices continue to drop, and the interest is going to go down and Coinbase is going to have less volume, and that means less fees and less customers. And so theoretically, this could have the thing that they did would be bad for them in the short term. Long term, we'll have to see. Again, I don't know what prices are going to do. I don't know how the market is going to react. Again, historically, whenever we've seen these extreme fears, it has been a low. So that's very, very important to remember. And we can always take advantage of it. Now, if you are interested in taking advantage of the current dip, our partner, BTCC, will give you the opportunity to do so. We do have that 30% promotion going on right now. So right now, to take advantage of these dips, right, we can deposit now money and get 30% bonus on our money if we're depositing now. This is only for my subscribers. So if you are interested, link is in the description down below. You go here to my website, and then you scroll down to BTCC. We also have our other partners here. If you're interested in trying out others, it's very important to also diversify your exchanges because we never know, right? So that's important as well. And if you do use my link, again, I will get a commission and you will get that 30% deposit bonus. Please trade responsibly though, because the market can be volatile. So watch out the leverage that you are using. We've seen leverage be very profitable, but also very, very risky in the past few months. So just please trade responsibly. And again, I will get a commission. So thank you for that. We'll see how the markets react in the next coming days. It's going to be very, very interesting to see where we go from here. Do we see an epic comeback, right? Or does the market continue to be slow and steady, just oozing down, right? Potentially XRP going to $1, potentially Bitcoin oozing down to the 50,000 level. It did stop at the support, but we have the possibility of oozing just slowly but surely back to that 60,000 level, and then potentially down to the 50,000 level. All these possibilities are still on the table, and we need to take into consideration that this is going to happen. It is a CPI week, so we've seen CPI weeks be volatile, so you have to take that into consideration as well, that there will continue to be volatility. We might have one day up, one day down, one day up, one day down, until we go into Friday and we see what the CPI actually is. Although, we do have a new Fed coming in soon, so maybe they'll have less effect because there's only so many more meetings that Powell will be in charge of, but it will be very interesting to say the least. Don't forget to smash the like button. Let's try to get 1,000 likes.
So shout out to Moneymaker and that information as well. Thanks, Dave. Shout out to the BTM mob. And ZBCN man will try to get a ZBCN video in later today. I think we can do the same time around 5-ish. But thanks for joining. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, let's get back to the money, guys. Stay dangerous. Miners out.